Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Let me see if I can figure out how to shut the music off. There we go. Hi, Rhonda. How are you? It's good to see you. I told you guys this afternoon I wanted to come back live as soon as I was able to, so that we could discuss this criminal complaint. I wanted to make sure that everybody was rested and getting ready for bed. So I did come on a little bit later than I typically would. Luckily, I do not work this evening, and so able to chit chat with you guys up until hopefully Locomai goes live. It feels like you've been on the computer all day. I have literally been pretty much on the computer all day. I will update you and let you know, though, I did make it to J.C. Penney's 6 minutes before they closed, got my 10 off of 10 coupon for the day, and then and then after I did that, I hurried up and bought a couple things and got out of there, and the lights literally shut off as I was leaving. And so, there's that. Look, my you seen it as well. Yeah, happy they're moving forward also. Hi, Ocean Tide. Hi, Annie Lou. I was telling everybody in Discord this morning and then during the trial today that I wanted to hop on this evening and cover it because honestly, I was just infuriated. I was just completely and totally disgusted and infuriated with this whole situation. I do have the court hearing. They set bail this afternoon that we're going to go ahead and watch that. Then we're going to start talking about this criminal complaint. Um, it's bad, you guys. I mean, we have certainly read more graphic things in the past than what we're about to read, but this is, they were very, very abusive to everyone. Well, to him. Got your jammies on, that's exciting. Oh, you don't have JCPenney's on. I know, right? Nice. I was so happy. Hi, Ocean Tide. Hi, Annie Lou. Hi, Libby. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start talking about this. I know that YouTube is blowing up right now because there is some stuffs going on. Um, but I want to talk about this. So let's let's start with court. We'll start with the bail being set, and then we'll go from there. Because I think that'll give us a way to kind of ease into things while people are coming in. So let me pull up the bail hearing. So for those of you guys who may not be familiar with Elijah Vu's case, Elijah did go missing in Manitowoc County. He was said to have walked out of his home. Well, not out of his home, out of his mom's boyfriend's home um, in the early morning of February 20th. They unfortunately did find his remains on September 7th of this past year. And he had been missing for, what is that? Is that 7 months at that point? Um, he was found 3 miles away from their home, or from the home that he went missing from. And once they found his remains, they did now criminally charge Katrina and Jesse for his death. Where did this video go? I literally was just watching it and then I clicked out of it. Let me go to my history. Mm, Okay, so let me do this. Let me share the screen. And I'm going to audio boost it because it's on Facebook, so it is a little bit low.
That is October 21st. They're in branch 4 at 1 o'clock with the regular. Well, actually, that's a half hour early, so that was why they told me that. Okay. And let me make sure, yes, that's the information that I will be reading off the sheet later. Okay, I don't know, Ms. Fay, will you be representing them for today's purposes?
I will be representing Mr. Vang.
And who is representing Ms. Bauer? Okay, I don't see that Ms. Gratz is in or anyone else responding. Well, one step at a time then. Also, anyone who's appearing on the Zoom, that is not part of a bail hearing, not necessarily these two, but any bail hearing, you can just watch on the live stream. And then we don't have to see names or know who's there. All right, we are ready to proceed then. Our first matter is that of Jesse Vang. This is an initial bail hearing regarding 24 CF 692. The charges in the matter are obstructing, hiding a corpse, and physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death. Ms. Fay, since you are handling this one, go ahead, please.
Commissioner, he would have his address and phone number be the information at the Manitowoc Jail, date of birth 11/4/1984.
All right. Attorney LaBrie, go ahead.
Commissioner, the state is asking for a $500,000 cash bail. Conditions to include no contact with the co-defendant and no contact with any children under the age of 18. The defendant's prior record started in 2002 in Outagamie County with petty crime of criminal damage to property. That same year, fleeing an officer at Manitowoc, battery by prisoner. There was a child abuse in Outagamie County, delivery of cocaine in Winnebago County in 2005, possession of cocaine in 04 and 06, resisting obstructing in 07 out of Outagamie County, a felony bail jumping in 2009 in Outagamie, disorderly conduct, and then more recently in 2017 in federal court, he had conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine, where he was incarcerated for a period of time and was released in 2022. So he has a prior record, significant record, which it does involve some battery-related offenses. He also has some fleeing an officer-related offenses and felony bail jumping, all of which are concerned for him to comply with bail conditions. His charges in this case have been increased. They are very serious charges. They are the most serious charges, which involve the death, and not only the death of another human being, of a young child. He's facing life imprisonment, which gives him an incentive to flee. And when you look at the facts of this case, this was
Just wanted to pause and side note there, not only life in prison, but 157 years if he gets charged with everything. Lock this mofo up and never let him out, for real, for real. I was elated whenever I sat there and added up all the charges. And I know they're gonna get him. I mean, these idiots took photos and digital evidence of absolutely everything that they were doing to this child, including how they got rid of his body. So,
abuse that occurred over a long period of time, several months, and in the criminal complaint that's before your honor, you can see the detail as far as the actions that he made the child do, as far as discipline, the standing for prolonged periods of time, the terrorizing and other abuse that is involved. There's also, starting in paragraph 55, the information from Dr. Petska, who's a child abuse specialist, where she finds that this type of physical abuse also was psychological and emotional maltreatment. Furthermore, he attempted to cover up his crime with the hiding a corpse charge, where he did try and conceal where our victim was placed, and as far as aware, it did take an amount of time for us to actually locate where the victim was. So he did try and conceal his crime as well. Based upon the prior record, the seriousness of the offense, and his own actions in this case, I think a significant cash bail is appropriate. I'd ask for the $500,000 cash with the other conditions. Thank you.
Attorney Fay.
Commissioner, Mr. Vang does not wish to argue bail at this time.
Thank you. All right. I appreciate that. The seriousness of this is beyond discussion. I should note, though, that Mr. Vang has been unable to post the cash previously set, and remind the community that bail is not punishment. Bail is to assure his appearances. Despite the weight of the evidence, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and the district attorney's office will have to meet their burden. Most of you in the media have seen the complaint. I have read the complaint. We will get to those stages as time goes on. I am going to grant the request and set the $500,000 cash as requested with the conditions: no contact with the co-defendant. We specifically will indicate her name. It's Katrina Baur. No contact with any person under the age of 18. And his initial appearance, as I noted earlier, will then be on Monday. That is October 21st at 1 p.m. in the courtroom for Branch 4, which is the one down the hall. Mr. Vang, you do have the right to be represented by a lawyer. Failure to appear, a warrant would be issued. I realize that might seem unnecessary to say, but I like to stay on my speech, make sure I say everything, so that is your right and your obligation. Compliance with the bond conditions is also required, or additional charges could be issued. With that, we are adjourned. Mr. Vang, you may leave the room. They'll bring in Ms. Baur, I believe, so that's going to take a couple of minutes to switch over. Okay, Ms. Baur's arrived.
Do you guys still look at her whenever they zoom in? I'm gonna show you guys a picture of her whenever she first got arrested to now. She has gained so much weight. And then, like, she actually looks healthy now. It's amazing what getting off the drugs, like I say this all the time, but getting off the drugs and actually eating food and not being strung out does for your body.
Okay. All right, our next individual then is Katrina Baur, here for a bail hearing regarding 24 CF 693. I will note that attorney, please correct me if I'm wrong, it is Amanda Gratz.
Amber Gratz.
Amber Gratz. Okay, well, I thought, without looking it up. And even though she's in a situation that we are all probably too aware of, basic information first: date of birth, address, phone number that you want used. Anything before we hear from the DA?
What's listed in the criminal complaint.
Okay. I guess we'll leave that as is. We'll just verify the date of birth is December 9th, 1992. The jail is the current location, although she does have a home address that's in the complaint. All right, Attorney LaBrie.
Commissioner, the state is asking for a $400,000 cash bail. Conditions to include no contact with the co-defendant, no contact with children under the age of 18. Her prior record is disorderly conduct out of Winnebago County in 2011, a disorderly conduct in Allegheny County from 2016, some traffic-related offenses, and then she does have an arrest out of state in Las Vegas from 2014, but I don't have a disposition on that, but it does show that she has some out-of-state contacts. As I had indicated with the co-defendant's bail argument, this is the most serious type of cases here involving the death of a small child. Ms. Baur allowed and even sent the victim to this residence for the boot camp or the discipline. She condoned it. She allowed it to happen and even left him there days before he passed away when she had the opportunity to remove him from that situation. He was abused over this period of time, as I indicated previously, when you look at Dr. Petska's information towards the end of the complaint, as far as the physical issues with the standing, the maltreatment, with the psychological and emotional terrorizing that also occurred. The state feels that a significant cash bail is appropriate in this case, and I would ask for the $400,000 cash. Thank you.
I didn't read the charges into the record. We do have the two counts of obstructing for Ms. Bauer. Chronic child neglect, specified harm did not occur, and then felony child neglect. Attorney Gratz, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would note for the record that she is currently sitting on a $15,000 cash bond, which she does have no ability to post in a significant amount of time. She does have ties to the community and has been a lifelong resident of Wisconsin.
All right, well, thank you. And much as I had said for Mr. Vang, the community is encouraged to remember presumed innocence until proven guilty. When the evidence is all heard and a decision is rendered, that is when punishment occurs. This is not that phase of the trial or the proceedings. However, I am aware of that cash bond and her inability to post and the unwillingness of the court to reduce that to date. I don't see that that is likely to change. However, each matter has to be looked, if not in a silo, at least looked at separately and considered. These charges are extremely serious, and recognition of the death of this young child does need to be given. I am going to set the cash bail as $400,000 as requested with the conditions: strict no contact with Jesse Vang and no contact with any other person under the age of 18 except as permitted for her child. Is that still being allowed for other child?
We're working with the other county on that.
So do you want an exception now or not?
At this point, I would ask for no contact with children under 18, and then we'll work out specific wording regarding that child.
All right, I will leave it that way. I know this is going to be something that will be dealt with going forward as well. And I don't know enough about this other child's situation to try to craft anything at this time, so that seems appropriate. All right, so I will make it strictly any child under the age of 18. The initial appearance from Ms. Bauer, as for Mr. Vang, is being set for Monday, October 21st, 1 p.m., Branch 4. I am sure that with discussion with the jail, you'll be able to figure out exactly whether they're going to be in the room at the same time or not. I would suspect not, but I don't have a different time set for each of them. Ms. Bauer, failure to appear, a warrant would be issued. Failure to comply with the conditions could result in additional charges. You obviously have the right to be represented by a lawyer. I don't know if that's going to continue with the same lawyer since we've got a different set of charges, but I'm sure that'll all be taken care of. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
I'm gonna come in slowly so I don't hopefully blow out any eardrums. It's just disgusting, like all of it. So let me pull up this criminal complaint so you guys can see that. And in the meantime, I'm also going to not play the music for this video, but show you guys the video because somebody has put together just so many adorable pictures of him, and you just have to stop and think, like, why? We're following Quentin's case right now. We've been watching it day after day. We've been following Elijah. We've followed so many children that are just like this. And it's case after case after case that it seems to be the happy, like, most adorable children that are going through such horrific, horrible things behind the scenes. And you just have to wonder, like, how does that light continue to shine out of them? You think about, like, Harmony Montgomery, for example. How does that light continue to he's just always smiling in all of these photos, happy despite everything. And then to have him just be murdered, it's so viciously and so cruelly. It's just disgusting. Um, I just can't help but pray for our children in our country because I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to stop stuff like this, other than to just give it to God and pray that something in our country can change. Yeah, he is. He's with Jesus. I agree. His smile always gets to you. This really shows you, though, how much communities can be affected. I mean, the judge looked like she was frustrated and angry and looked like she emotionally is tied to this just as much as the police force has been, and everybody was hoping that there was gonna be a different outcome for him, and unfortunately, there wasn't. I'll be curious to see if they let the trial stay in this area, because this happened in a small town, but it also happened in an area that everyone got involved with the search. And I almost think that whenever this does eventually go to court, that they're probably going to petition for it to be moved. Yeah, they always seem love. They always seem love around them, even when surrounded by evil. Right? They elude the love and happiness. They do. Hmm. So, but I wanted to show you that because I thought that this was like really well put together. Whoever did that. Sunset Love is their name on Facebook. So, not sure, but let me pull this over and we will take a look at this criminal complaint. Like I said, guys, it's bad. Um, I know that there have probably been cases that we've read worse things in, but with this case, because of his age, because of knowing that this went on, this was systematic abuse that took place over a period of time, and they documented all of it. And honestly, the only case that I can think of that this reminds me of is Gabriel Fernandez. The fact that they would get together for them to be together, to put it you know, nicely, after abusing him and after sharing pictures of abuse, I really think that if he would have lived through this week, that the abuse would have continued in a sexual manner, like not abusing him, but abusing him while pleasing themselves and things like that, because it really seems like that this was a turn on for them in a way, and it's absolutely disgusting. So it says count 1, so this is for Jesse Vang right now. As to Jesse Vang, count 1, physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, repeater. So between January 1st and February 20th, so we're talking about a month and a half time period, he did commit repeated acts of physical abuse involving the same child. Victim child 1, date of birth 8/20/2020, where at least 3 acts were violations and at least one violation caused the death of a child, and further invoking the provisions of Section 939.62 because the defendant is a repeater, having been convicted of 3 misdemeanor offenses on separate occasions in 5 years or 1 felony in 5 years, which conviction remains the of record and unreversed, the maximum term of imprisonment and underlying crime may be increased to not more than 2 years if the prior convictions were for misdemeanors and not more than 6 years if the prior conviction was for a felony. Count 2, hiding a corpse. So this one can be imprisoned 12 years, 6 months. This is sometime between February 19th and February 20th. So it says this one, it just goes over the same thing that I just read, the 93962. That's just for him hiding the corpse. Obstructing an officer, which would be February 20th to 21st. Said he knowingly obstructed an officer while such officer was doing an act of official capacity and lawful authority. So as to Katrina Baur, chronic 4 or count 4 chronic child neglect of a child consequence is death. So same dates between January 1st and February 20th. She was the person responsible for the welfare of a child, victim child 1, date of birth 8/20/2020. Through her action and failure to take action for reasons other than poverty, did negligently fail to provide necessary care, necessary food, necessary clothing, necessary medical care, and necessary shelter, so as seriously injured the physical, mental, and emotional health of the child, and the child suffered death as a consequence. The actor is guilty of chronic neglect, as to it, the contrary, all those numbers. So she could be sentenced to not to exceed 60 years for that one. Lock them up. Count number 5, neglecting a child, specified harm did not occur and child has a disability. The above named defendant on or about Wednesday, February 14th, 2024, being a responsible person responsible for the welfare of the child of victim child 2, so this is about her daughter, through her action, failure to take action, reasons other than poverty, did negligently fail to provide necessary care, necessary shelter, as to seriously endanger the physical, mental, or emotional health of the child, and the natural and probable consequences of this violation would be harm under, um, the statutes. Although the harm did not actually occur, the class 1 felony upon conviction may be fined at no more than $10,000 or 3 years. So that's her leaving her daughter in the car that day. Obstructing an officer. The above named defendant did between February 20th and February 21st in the city of Two Rivers, did knowingly obstruct an officer while such officer was doing the official capacity and lawful authority. They can be fined up to 9 months. So really, this is all just leading up to how many years they could potentially serve for this. Okay, now we get into the probable cause. The complaint alleges he is informed by the reports of Megan and Jacob, known to the complainant to be officers with the Two Rivers Police. Sorry, I got to move this slightly. Hold on. I got to just move stuff on my desk real quick because it's like blocking my view slightly, and I keep having to move my head. Okay, sorry. Um, where was I at? So known to be officers with the police department, Michael and Nate, also known to be officers, Eric. Okay, just naming all the officers. On February 20th at 10:59 a.m., officers from the Two Rivers Police Department were dispatched to 3918 Mishicot Road, apartment 102, City of Two Rivers, Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, regarding a report of a missing child. The caller, Jesse Vang, reported that a child had been babysitting. Victim child 1, age 3, had gone missing. Vang informed law enforcement that he fell asleep while watching victim child 1. When Vang woke up, he was missing. Vang then called 911. Elijah, who was believed to be wearing black and gray sweatpants, dark-colored long-sleeve shirt, and dinosaur shoes. Elijah's winter jacket was still at the residence. He was possibly carrying a red, white, and black checkered blanket. Vang informed responding officers that he resided at the apartment where child 3, his nonverbal autistic 15-year-old son, and Elijah, who had been staying with him periodically. Vang stated that Elijah's mother, Katrina Baur, resided in Wisconsin Dells area, and Elijah's father is currently incarcerated. Katrina is Vang's girlfriend. Vang initially identified Elijah as his nephew, but then clarified that there is no familial relation. Vang indicated that Elijah had been staying with him for as much as a week at a time and will go back and forth between him and Katrina. He stated that this arrangement had been going on for about a month. Vang said sometimes Elijah would go back with Katrina for a few days or a week, and then she would bring him back. Vang stated that Elijah stays with him so he can help Katrina with Elijah's bad behaviors. He stated that Elijah had been with him this time since February the 12th. Interviews with Jesse Vang. Hi, True Crime for You. How are you? No, it's not a death penalty state. Sorry, guys. I'm just kind of reading down through this. Mr. Chat. At approximately 1 p.m., Detective Herman and Detective Lieutenant Jacob Glasser interviewed Jesse at the apartment. At the time, Jesse was in the possession of Child 3's cell phone and had it on speakerphone. Katrina was identified as the party on the open line. Katrina indicated that she was driving to Two Rivers from the Wisconsin Dells area with her 6-year-old daughter, victim child 2. Victim child 2 is diagnosed with autism. Baur stated that victim child 1 was staying with Vang as he is helping her out as a male role model. Yes, this is the man that we need as a male role model. This freaking monster, right? Allegedly. Allegedly, this monster. Jesse was asked about Elijah's behavior issues. He explained that Elijah had been wearing his sister's dresses, walking around on his tippy toes. Detective Herman asked what bad behavior Elijah had exhibited. Katrina interrupted and said that Elijah had been aggressive towards his sister and will steal things at the store. A 3-year-old? You want me to believe that, Katrina? That he is stealing things at the store? Like intentionally? I think that children sometimes I could see a 3-year-old picking something up, not realizing that it was a big deal or that they still had it in their hand and leaving the store. I could see that happening. But to do this where you have to send him away for weeks at a time because he's stealing things, a 3-year-old is not going to maliciously walk into a store and go out of their way to steal things. I'm sorry. Not unless, Katrina, that's a learned behavior. Did you steal things in front of your children to make them think that that was okay or that that was the appropriate thing to do? Or is this just you trying to paint Elijah in a bad light to the police officers so that you could try to justify the crap that you people were putting him through while he was staying with Jesse? Jesse's idea of Elijah being bad was him cross-dressing, essentially. He's trying to say that he's cross-dressing, like he's wearing his sister's dresses and walking around on his tippy toes. Sir, kids dress up in costumes a lot. My daughter walks around in my husband's work boots constantly. Constantly. Should I discipline her? And newsflash, you have an autistic child. She has an autistic child. There's a chance that, honestly, Elijah could have autism if he's walking on his tippy toes, which is common in children that have autism. And so, are you just going to discipline that out of him if that's something that he has going on? Like, I have so many issues with this entire document. Right, they're kids. They're being kids. I can't. I can't even. Okay, so let me keep going. This case has really infuriated me ever since the beginning of it. And then this document, it just, ugh. So then Jesse says that Elijah behaves better when he's with him because he is afraid of him, and then corrected himself and said, Elijah respects me. Vang stated that they put Elijah there as punishment for his bad behavior. He stated he had to play the bad role. Vang said he disciplines Elijah with timeouts, takes away items such as pizza and ice cream, withholds milk from this child as punishment as well. He further stated that Elijah is scared of cold water. Like, this idiot really stood there and told police all of this right at the beginning. And we read this during the arrest warrant. Some of this was in there. And I mean, I just love it. I just really appreciate that criminals are idiots. I really do. I really wish that every criminal could continue to be this stupid so that we can get every single one of you idiots and lock you up. That's just my opinion. Please continue to be dumb. Please put a 1 in the chat if you want the criminals to continue to be stupid. Anyways, so he is scared of cold water. Vang will give the victim, child 1, an ultimatum and ask if he wants the cold water. Jesse denied following through with these ultimatums. I'm sorry, but he wouldn't be scared of the cold water if you never actually did it. So please try again, because nobody believes that crap. Jesse also stated that he makes Elijah stand as a form of punishment. He stated that he will tell Elijah to just stand there. He stated that following his shower yesterday, Elijah stood in the room with him. When asked if Elijah was being naughty yesterday, so he was made to stand in the bedroom, Jesse said no, because they just make him stand there all the time. So you don't have to be bad, you just have to stand there. Jesse indicated the point was to make Elijah to hate being there. Congratulations, I think you probably succeeded. Jesse stated that he napped for 1 to 2 hours and that afterwards his brother AJ Vang stopped by around 2 p.m. He stayed for 30 to 40 minutes. Jesse said that Elijah was in a timeout and he stayed in the bedroom while AJ was there. Jesse said after dinner around 5 or 5:30 p.m., he talked to Katrina about watching a movie. He said he talks to Katrina on the phone a lot, almost 24/7. The detective asked where Elijah was at this time, and he stated mostly he's just quiet. He just stands there. The detective asked if Elijah sat down at all, and he said, "Oh, he can. I usually make him stand up and pray." Vang added that he would tell Elijah to hold his prey or say, "Good boy," or "Sorry, mommy." Jesse stated that he's trying to make Elijah understand that going home is a privilege. What? Hmm. Okay. Jesse said that Elijah was good between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Did you let him eat with you guys? That's my question. He was good, and you guys had dinner. You don't mention feeding him. He confirmed that he made Elijah stand for 2 to 3 hours without sitting. When Elijah would try to sit down, he would say, "Do you want the cold water?" Jesse added that Elijah is fine. It's not like his knees are shaking or about to fall over, you know. Jesse continued to detail the events from the day before. He stated that Elijah and Child 3 ate dinner, left after dinner, or later after dinner. Jesse said he watched a movie on Netflix called Ready Player One. At this time, Jesse put Elijah in punishment and had him stand in the corner by the bed near him. As Jesse spoke, Katrina interrupted and indicated that she felt the questions were irrelevant and asked, "Do I need an attorney?" She knew. She already knew that her boyfriend had said way too much. She was probably freaking out on the way there because she's already dealt with CPS in her past. Right, Oceantide? He never understood what he did wrong. He just thought that this was his reality. And how is that possible? Whenever we seen the pictures of him, he looked so happy all the time. And all this was happening to this poor child. Jesse continued to detail the events from the day before. Oh, wait, sorry. Jesse said that as he watched the movie in his bedroom, Elijah usually stands at the foot of his bed praying. Jesse described praying as having the palms of his hands together in front of him, and that he's been teaching him to say, "Okay, mommy," Jesse said that he felt he had to play the bad parent and that he had to let Elijah go to sleep around 8 to 8:30 on the futon in the living room. Jesse indicated that Elijah gets pretty tired from standing. Well, I could imagine so. The first time that I heard that he sat was at 8:30 p.m. He spoke with Katrina on the phone around midnight. He indicated that he woke up at around 7:30 a.m. on February 20th and got child 3 ready for school. Jesse said he was gone for about 6 minutes to bring child 3 to the bus stop at the end of the parking lot at 7:55 a.m. Said when he left, Elijah was still sleeping, and when he returned, he moved Elijah to his bedroom. Jesse said he took a nap for 2 hours, and when he woke, Elijah was gone. The detective asked questions about the clothing that Elijah was wearing and Elijah's blanket. Jesse stated to Katrina, "They are interrogating me. I told you they would." Katrina then stated, "I know, that's why I said, do I need an attorney?" Detective advised he was only attempting to attain information. He suggested that they take a break and he stepped away to make a phone call to Detective Lieutenant Glasser remained in the apartment. The detective reviewed the recording of the time that he was out of the apartment. Detective Lieutenant Glasser asked if there was anywhere that Katrina thought that Elijah might go. Katrina indicated the Dollar General store or the White House I used to live at off of VV. I think they were hoping that he was going to be found deceased and that they were going to claim that he got lost in the woods. Because she then says, if Elijah got lost in the woods, she would not know. They were hoping that he was going to be found right off the bat and that or what, maybe not right off the bat. They don't want the abuse to be found, but they pointed him right in the direction of where they put his body. That's where they found him, right by their house that they used to live at in the woods. A hunter found him. They wanted him to be found. They didn't want this to be some huge investigation, but they wanted it to look like he ran away. 3-year-olds don't run away, you guys. Not any 3-year. I mean, they might elope if they're like autistic or something along those lines. They might elope. They might run for that reason. They might wander off, but they're not going to like wander off 3 miles away to their old house. He's not going to know that. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. All right, let me keep going. So Jesse then stated he felt the questions he was being asked were to make it like he was punishing Elijah too bad, and that Elijah would rather just take off. Like they're literally trying to paint it like he ran away. Ugh. The detective returned to the apartment and was informed that Katrina was turning onto Cord VV going through Shodo, and Katrina stated she was worried about the river. Jesse explained that after the house is to the west, there is a river. He stated that he wanted to smoke, so he went outside with the detective. He later consented to come to TRPD to continue the interview. He indicated that he did not have a vehicle and that he was currently running. So the detective agreed to give him a ride. Katrina asked Vang if he should get an attorney. Vang said he would cooperate and then was transported to TRPD. She wanted him to lawyer up so fast before he said anything else. Yeah, maybe some guy will make him stand for hours on end. Maybe. Maybe. Sorry. Had to get a drink and the kids started asking me questions. Okay, and so let's see, where was I? So the detective, they continued to speak with Jesse, advising that the goal was to obtain as much detail as possible to aid in finding Elijah. Jesse was informed he was not in custody and does not have to answer questions and is free to go. The detective asked Jesse to continue where they had left off. Jesse advised that after moving Elijah to his bedroom, he took a nap. Jesse said that Elijah was praying and saying, "Sorry, Mommy," while standing at the foot of his bed. He said that he woke up after a couple of hours and Elijah was not there, but the door was unlocked. Uh, Jesse said that he had searched for Elijah and then called Katrina, who told him to call the police. Jesse denied taking sleeping medications that morning, but did confirm that he drank a beer after TRPD arrived this morning. Law enforcement later located a sandwich bag containing marijuana in the drawer in his kitchen. So he continued to discuss how he punishes Elijah. He again confirmed that he would punish Elijah by having him stand and pray. Vang stated that the main punishment was to stand in the corner and face the wall pray. Vang said that this would be by his bedroom door. He said for the first 2 weeks, Elijah would pray, and this week, Jesse was having Elijah say, "Sorry, Mummy." Jesse was asked if Elijah did anything to have to stand and pray. And he stated that he is naughty at home and Elijah is with him for a punishment like boot camp. It's done to make Elijah feel like going home is a privilege. Jesse confirmed that this is the plan that both him and Katrina agreed upon. Jesse was again asked if there was something that Elijah did to have the corrective action. He replied, "The whole time he is here is supposed to be on punishment." Jesse said that Elijah is made to stand for an hour at a time without sitting down. He said that Elijah gets tired. Oh, Cooter, we ain't even there yet. This is just the beginning, girlie. Vang indicated that Elijah still wore diapers, and this morning Elijah would still be wearing a diaper that Vang put on him from the day before. Right before Elijah went to bed, Vang said that Elijah is not potty trained and that he's trying to train him. He said that he cannot change his diaper by himself, that he changes Elijah at least once a day, but did not change his diaper today as he was tired. Jesse was asked about the toys for Elijah and said that he had one set of play tools at the apartment, but he was not allowed to play with them until in the 9 days that he was with Vang. As he stated, Vang was a bad parent. One second. Hold on. Just want to see something real quick here. Okay. Sorry. So we knew this, though. We knew a lot of this from the last criminal complaint. So he also said that Elijah is not allowed to speak with Katrina. The idea is to deprive him of what he is of what he has so that he is appreciative of them. The lieutenant asked Jesse what he thought happened to Elijah, and he said, "I was thinking right away that he walked to someone who would sell him." Yes, because that's my first thought whenever a child disappears is that, clearly they walked away to go get sold somewhere. Sorry, somebody sent me a message, so I'm trying to read it real quick. I apologize, you guys. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourself for a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, and so the sergeant advised Jesse that there was still a number of unanswered questions. When asked where Elijah was, Jesse stated that he did not know, but if he walked out of the door, anything could have happened to him. They explained that Jesse had a number of inconsistencies in his statement, and then he indicated that he was done talking. You should have been done talking a long time ago, sir. Like, I'm just saying, if you were working on trying to not get caught, you did a very, very poor job. But I'm okay with that. I'm glad you did a poor job. I'm glad they knew right away that you people were probably guilty of some type of crime, and they have kept you in jail since then. I appreciate that. I know. You have to keep reminding yourself to breathe. Me too. I agree. He did. Yes, he had a 15-year-old who was nonverbal autistic. So the interview with Katrina Baur. At 3:15 p.m. on February 20th, she arrived at Vang's residence. She said she had started dating Vang in November and previously dated him about a year prior. She did tell the detective that Elijah had been with him since February 12th of 2024 and that she planned on taking him back home on February 23rd. She later identified January 2024 as being the first time that Elijah went to stay with Jesse without her. She said this past week was the longest time that Elijah had ever stayed with Jesse without her being there. She explained that she could not deal with Elijah's behaviors and that Elijah does not act or poorly around Jesse. She described Elijah as being awful and naughty at times. She said that Elijah regularly threatens to run away. A 3-year-old threatens to run away. Really? Really? I highly doubt that. And if that's the case, if this 3-year-old verbalized that they wanted to run away, why would that be the case? He threatens to run away if he does not get his way. She said that she ordered special locks for her doors because Elijah has gotten out. She explained that Elijah has never made it as far as someone would see him and stop him. She tries to put the behavior correction role on to Jesse. She explained that Jesse is the enforcer of the roles in the relationship and that that was the reason for sending Elijah to stay with Jesse. She discussed with Jesse that as long as there is no physical harm to the children, she is fine with whatever discipline that he enforces. She gave examples of praying, saying, "I'm sorry, Mama," going over the 4 rules that the victim or that Elijah is supposed to be memorizing. She denied that there was anything unusual in her communications with Jesse this past week and indicated that she was on the phone with Jesse all the time. She stated that on February 19th, she remembered having a normal extended phone call with Jesse and that she heard Elijah say, "Hi, Mommy," in the background. She heard Jesse tell Elijah to go to bed. She said that would have been around 7 to 8 p.m., 7:30 to 8 p.m. The interview with Katrina was continued at TRPD as Jesse's apartment was being secured and processed for evidence. At TRPD, she was upset and paced back and forth during the interview. She accused law enforcement of not doing anything to find Elijah and indicated that she spoke with Elijah on the phone Monday night, 2/19/24. She said that Jesse and Elijah were at the apartment and that Elijah kept chiming in on the phone call as Jesse was on speakerphone. Katrina became upset and said law enforcement's line of questioning was to try to incriminate Jesse. She continued to discuss her concerns with Elijah's behaviors and said that because Elijah's father is incarcerated, she felt it important for Elijah to have a father figure. She explained that she does not want Elijah learning girl behaviors from her. She said that Elijah calls himself a girl sometimes and steals and wears his sister's clothing. She said that Elijah's behavior would always escalate when she tried to correct these behaviors. And she said these things began when Elijah turned 3. I mean, terrible twos, terrible threes. That's a thing, but I doubt, I don't know. Anyways, let me just keep reading. She said that these issues began when Elijah turned 3 and that Jesse saw this behavior on Thanksgiving of 2023 in her residence. Jesse told her that she needed to try harder to stop that behavior from Elijah. During the interviews, Katrina initially denied being in Manitowoc County February 16th and 17th. She specifically told them that she was not there on those dates. And then, of course, we found out that she was there. Um, they located messages from Jesse to her on February 17th at approximately 6:39 p.m. and 6:49 p.m., where Vang tells her that he's angry because Elijah overfilled his diaper and that he gave him a cold shower. Jesse noted that Elijah was clean but scared. She later admitted that she had been in Two Rivers on February 16th to see Jesse. She said that she arrived at his apartment around 11 p.m. and saw Elijah on the couch in the living room. She said that Elijah was tired and did not want to talk, but he was fine. She said she left at around 4 to 5 a.m. on February 17th. A preview from her cell phone showed an image depicting Elijah wearing an eye mask blindfold on his face. Elijah appears to have bruising on his jawline, the left side of his neck, as well as bruising on his left arm. The phone data indicated that the image was taken on February 14th at 3:13 a.m. and then deleted at 4:12. She was shown the image and said, "Oh, that's an eye mask on him. N Oh, no, that's an eye mask on him. Those aren't injuries." She denied seeing injuries on Elijah's body, claiming that the bruising was just shadows. She later admitted that she took the photo at Jesse's residence. She was adamant that she took the photo on Friday, February 16th, not Wednesday, February 14th, as the image indicated. She stated the image was originally darker and it must have been altered to show things that were not originally there. She denied the things in the picture being real and became extremely upset and started crying. She continued to deny that she was at Jesse's apartment on February 14th. She again was told the image was taken February 14th. She then later said that she went to Vang's apartment on February 14th. Well, no crap. They got you. They got you. Katrina explained that she did not talk to Elijah that night because he was tired, but she took that picture because he was sleeping cute. Yeah, it's adorable to see your beat up, a bruised child sleeping with a face mask on your boyfriend's bed. So adorable. The detective informed Katrina he was concerned that she had initially denied being at Vang's apartment at all during Elijah's stay. She then admitted that she made a late night trip to his apartment on February 14th for Valentine's Day. She continued to assert that when she took the photo on February 14th, it was dark and she did not see Elijah's injuries. When asked if she had seen injuries on Elijah when she had visited on Friday, February 16th, she said she did not because Friday went very wrong. She said that she had a panic attack and just wanted to go home. She became upset when asked to describe what triggered the attack. She did not want to discuss it further. Katrina indicated that she had a flashback, and she was also asked about messages that she had sent to Jesse on child three's phone while Jesse was being interviewed by law enforcement at his apartment. When she was on speakerphone, they had previously reviewed the phone and noted that at 1:31 p.m., she messaged, "Stop. Don't say too much. No. Stop. You let him. Shh. And attorney, Kay." She admitted that she sent those messages because she felt like law enforcement was trying to entrap Jesse for drinking and taking medications while watching Elijah. She was trying to shut him up because she was hoping that he would be smart enough to not say all of the abusive type of things that he did, and he wasn't. He told them everything that he was doing. I don't understand why women value their boyfriends over your children or your husband or anyone for that matter, over your own flesh and blood. Some guy that you've just been dating for a few months, his safety, his not getting entrapped by law enforcement is more important than you assisted him in hiding your child's body. Yeah, I guess nobody taught him how to be a real man, right, Cooter G? I digress. Let me continue. So, the sergeant further observed messaging from Bauer to Vang at the time period immediately after Jesse called 911 on February 20th, 2024, to report Elijah missing. Specifically, they observed Facebook data that contained unsent or deleted messages after his 911 call. He notes that in his prior experiences, unsent messages are messages that were initially sent but then deleted by the user. So he compared Facebook Messenger records and the phone extraction records and noted that the following messages were sent but then unsent or deleted in the phone. Approximately 1 minute after Vang called 911 at 10:59 a.m., Katrina said, message say you guys were taking a nap and he left. At approximately 11:07 a.m., she messaged and said, "Jesse, listen, the way you word things is very important. I need you to call me." Approximately 11 seconds later, she messaged and said, "Say this is your guy's normal sleeping schedule. He's never opened the door before. Don't say anything about the child lock." She was totally in on him reporting. Yep, she did just like Jen Soto did about getting a lawyer, right? I agree. No eggplant ever would be. Never ever. So cell phones belonging to her and Vang, including text messages and Facebook messages, were reviewed by law enforcement. Between December 1st, 2023 and February 2024, there are over 15,000 messages explained. That is a lot of freaking messages. On 114, she asked Vang to send voice messages telling Elijah that he's going to be put in timeout. He sends two short audio files telling Elijah to listen and asking him if he wants to go to timeout. Jesse messaged that Elijah needs a father figure and she needs a break from her kids and that he can show her more tricks. On 114, she thanked Jesse for helping with her kids, especially Elijah, because he can be a toad. Jesse said that he can't do much for victim two, but he can teach Elijah. On 121, he sent a 50-second video showing Elijah sitting on the couch answering questions from him about what happened with the water. Elijah stated that victim child 2 did it. On 121, Jesse messaged, "Okay, it's up to you. It's making it harder and harder on Elijah. Ha ha ha. You're breaking him down every time you come in. Ha ha." On 122, she messaged, "Is he still up?" On 122, he sent a 24-second video of which Elijah is being prompted by Vang to say phrases that included, "I promise, mommy. I love you. Sorry, I going to be good boy. No more." On 122 at 11:03 a.m., he sent a 12-second video showing Elijah saying, "Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy." On 122 at 4:20 p.m., he sent a 27-second video showing Elijah whimpering and saying that he wants to see Pam. Jesse then messaged, "He's trying to manipulate me. Ha ha." And then sent another 3-year-old trying to manipulate you. A 3-year-old. He then sent another 6-second video showing Elijah being prompted by Vang to say, "I'm not going to say that word. No more. Bad word." Then message that Elijah keeps running out of the room door, not the front door, saying, "I'm gonna be nice." Jesse messaged that Elijah was fake crying and that Elijah was definitely spoiled. On 122 at 5:45 p.m., Vang messaged about Elijah being a little faker, a manipulator, and a crybaby. He's 3. Katrina messaged about having a hard time with disciplining him. He tells her that she needs to stand her ground and states that Elijah cries about everything. On 122, these are all videos of her child being freaking abused. Like, this is emotional abuse. This is horrible. In 122 at, what is that, 6:56 p.m., he sent a 9-second video showing Elijah standing by the door in his room. He asks why is he faint crying? And he approaches Elijah. As he approaches, Elijah quickly sits down and says, "I good boy." On 122 at 10:11 p.m., he messaged, "Remember, he's in boot camp. I hate that when I tell him to come in the room, he's like, 'Don't hit me.' And when I have to pick him up, he's like, 'Ow, you're hurting me.'" He messaged, "He's a faker," and references Elijah praying a few times. Katrina messaged and said that since they moved, Elijah is afraid of men. Wonder why. Wonder why he's afraid of men. Look, I'm so sorry. I just realized I'm going to run over. I was hoping to be done by now, but this is long. I don't know if you just want to bump back a little bit and then I can put a thing, but you don't have to. I'm just saying. I apologize. I didn't realize. Um okay. So on 122 at 10:45 p.m., he sent a picture showing Elijah with red, black, and white blanket on his shoulders and message, "But look who's awake." Katrina messaged, "My heart, I feel like I've been shot." And Vang messaged that Elijah will be fine. She says, or she messaged and said, "It's hard on me too, but I know it's what's best." On 122 at 11:07 p.m., he messaged his punishment from faking earlier and then sent a 15-second video showing Elijah in the dark bedroom saying, "Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Hi, daddy's baby girl." Was he the only child? No, her daughter is verbal also. Trina messaged to see if she could send him a voice message, but Vang says no more seeing him. He freaked out for like 3 hours earlier. This is all one day. It was all one day of abuse. When 123 at what, 15 15 o'clock? No, it's 12:15 a.m. He messaged, "Okay, he's up. It's his punishment from pissing me off with that fake stuff earlier. Ow, don't hit me. Ow, you're hurting me." He sent 16-second video showing Elijah rubbing his eyes and saying, "Good boy." Vang tells victim child 1 to keep going, and Elijah repeats, saying, "Good boy." She says, "Man, I can hear the defeat." He woke him back up, still up at midnight. It's just so late. On 123 at 10:45 a.m., he sent a YouTube link of an annoying sounded video and messaged, making him watch this because he keeps crying, saying he wants you and his sister. Katrina messaged that the video is annoying and thanked Jesse. Thanked him for the crap that he's doing to her daughter or to her son. On 123 at 3:10, he sent a 27-second video showing Jesse's hand on his neck and shoulder. It appears that Elijah was crying and Vang was telling him to make sad and happy faces. On 123 at 4:35 p.m., he sent a 5-second video showing Elijah laying on the bedroom floor with a pillow and a blanket saying, "Good boy, good boy, good boy." On 123 at 10:12 p.m., Katrina messaged asking if he's up, and Jesse replied that he's doing his daily routine of reforms. On 124 at 11:21, Jesse messaged that Elijah opened the door and left outside while Jesse was asleep. Katrina reminds him to lock the child lock. Jesse messaged that since Elijah was good, he allowed Elijah to go to the living room, and Jesse fell asleep. Jesse messaged, "Yeah, he's really in trouble today. I trusted him that he was a good boy." Vang then sent a 3-second video showing Elijah standing in the corner by the bedroom door, saying, "Good boy, good boy." Jesse messaged that he's going to be tough on his words now. "Now I'm saying, no more mommy." On 124 at 4:38 p.m., he messaged saying, "This little guy's been crying all day, and that he's in timeout." Jesse messaged that he fell asleep around 9 a.m. and that around 10:30 a.m. he heard the door close and Elijah came back in crying. Jesse messaged that he let Elijah do fun things yesterday and he betrayed Jesse today. Katrina responded that she's forgotten many, many times and woke to one, if not both of them, gone. On 124 at 6:45 p.m., he messaged and said that he found a new punishment for Elijah. "He's stepping on my back." Katrina asked to call him, but Jesse said that victim child 1 is going to hear her voice and then cry. He talked about his back hurting and he can't sit for long. On 124 at 10:16 p.m., Jesse messaged that Elijah is up. Jesse's not letting him sleep and that he is in timeout today. I agree, Roberta. They just both need to never be allowed out of prison. This crap has gone on. It's been nonstop torture of this child. We're on what, the third day in a row? Started on 121. We're on 124. My thing is, what is this? Who does this? Who sits there and records abuse over and over and over and over again? Why? And sends it to each other? And this mom, if you can call her that, this mom is just looking at all this abuse saying, "Thank you." Okay. So on 124 at 11:21 a.m., he messaged that Elijah opened the door and left outside while he was asleep. Wait, did I? Oh, nope. I scrolled back up, didn't I? Too far. So we're on 125 actually. I'm sorry. So on 125 at 12:44 p.m., he sent two videos, a 7-second and a 14-second video of Elijah sitting still and not saying anything. Elijah messaged, "Why does he look so lost and sad?" Ha, or I'm sorry, Jesse messaged, "Why does he look so lost and sad?" Ha ha ha. She messaged and said, "So, so sad." And that Elijah is holding in tears. Gee, I don't know, Jesse. Why does he look so lost and sad? On 125 at 2 p.m., Jesse sent a 25-second video showing a close-up of Elijah's face. He asked Elijah several questions, and Elijah says that he'll be a good boy and listen to mommy. Vang messaged, haha, that's Elijah when he sees you tomorrow. On 125 at 8:53 p.m., he sent a picture of Elijah and messaged the last day in timeout. Jesse then sent a 12-second video showing Elijah being asked by Jesse if he wants to talk to mommy. Elijah is prompted by Jesse to say no crying and promise. Katrina states that he gets so sad. On 126 at 12:08 a.m., Katrina messaged if Elijah was sleeping, and Jesse messaged not yet, very soon. He sent a 13-second video showing Elijah sitting upright, but he appears to be sleeping with his head bobbing. I won't let him sleep, but he's very tired. She says, I see that. LOL. You see that? Laugh out loud? That's your baby. He's 3. On 127 at 12:59 p.m., Katrina had a video chat, and then Jesse messaged, more reason for me to time him out and bring him back again for another week. Katrina messaged that she has faith in Jesse. On 128 at 1:54 p.m., she messaged, is Elijah staying when I get back, Kay? He said, yep, and of course, he is done for. On 129, Jesse sent a 18-second video showing Elijah standing on the couch being prompted by Jesse saying, I miss you, miss the sister, and I be good boy, no more be bad boy. On 129 at 3:45, Jesse messaged and said he's stand up in timeout. Katrina messaged how child 3 feels about Jesse. Jesse messaged that child 3 doesn't care and that child 3 didn't say anything when he showed up with victim child 1 to child 3. On 129 at 5:37 p.m., Jesse sent a 35-second video showing Elijah saying, sorry, mommy, and being prompted by Jesse to say, I be a good boy and not be a bad boy, no more. Jesse then sent a 38-second video showing Elijah sitting on the bedroom floor and crying. He tells Elijah that he keeps lying and that Elijah is crying and says that he wants to go home. Jesse replied, no more home for you. You live with uncle now. On 129 at 22:40, Jesse messaged that victim child 1 is learning to be humble and that when he learns his lesson, he gives him a toy. Jesse then sent 2 photos showing Elijah sitting on the couch with his eyes closed and his hands folded like he's praying. Jesse then sent a 6-second video with Elijah in the same position on the couch. He states, keep going, and Elijah states, good boy, good boy. Katrina messaged with heart emojis and aw. Vang asked Katrina if she liked his way of teaching, and she stated she is amazed by it. She is so amazed by him abusing her child. This is just the most wonderful thing that she has ever seen. She didn't want this kid in her family. Yeah, her family would have taken him. I agree, Roberta. He had people that could have taken him in, that would have taken him in. On 129, she messaged asking what Elijah was doing, and Jesse messaged, his usual, he's standing saying good boy. On 131 at 10:19 a.m., he messaged that he woke up with with some noise, and that Elijah had his phone, tablet, and Nintendo Switch. Jesse messaged that he was furious, and since Elijah has learned nothing, he can stay longer. Katrina messaged Jesse that Elijah is still a toddler and has temptations. Jesse messaged that Elijah's punishment was cold water. So you're to have me believe that this 3-year-old went and found your phone, your tablet, and your Nintendo Switch. And I guess he turned it all on and was sitting there playing with it? Come on, dude. I think he got kicks off of torturing this child. He wanted him there. He wanted these videos. He wanted to sit there and he got a lot of pleasure, I think, out of this non-stop torture. I know the family did. They searched so hard for him. On January 31st at 11:41 p.m., Katrina asked what Elijah was doing. Jesse messaged that Elijah had been standing in timeout saying, "Good boy." She suggests allowing him to watch TV because Jesse needs to rest. Jesse disagreed and said he can't think because he's so tired. Katrina stated that she doesn't want Elijah to hurt himself while Jesse is sleeping, and Jesse messaged, Elijah hasn't left the room since I told him not to. He's good on that part. On 1:31 at 4:26 p.m., Jesse messaged that he doesn't think that Elijah is ready to go home and he's done with his lying. Katrina messages Jesse if he thinks that Elijah knows that he's lying or not. Oh, is it finally dawning on you, Katrina, that you have a freaking 3-year-old and that he might not actually realize if he's doing something wrong and that he might just be getting punished for no particular reason nonstop by you all the freaking time and has no clue what he actually did wrong. He just knows that he went from being this happy go lucky boy who had a sister and a mom that he seemingly cares about, and then out of nowhere, now he has Jesse and he's in this prison where he has to repeat the same phrases over and over again. Jesse offers for Elijah to stay at his place longer. Why? Why, Jesse? Why do you, if he's such a problem, why do you want him there so bad? On 1:31 at 4:35 p.m., Jesse messaged, yes, he's a naughty one. He's in baby prison right now. She replies, laughing my effing A off. I'm glad you think that's so funny. I hope you enjoy adult prison, ma'am. I hope they put you under the freaking jail. On 1:31 at 10:52 p.m., Jesse sent out a 10-second video showing what appears to be Jesse lying face down and Elijah has his eyes closed standing on Jesse's back. Jesse asked Elijah if he's a good boy or a bad boy. It On February 2nd at 9:31 p.m., she messaged, "What's the little guy doing?" Jesse replied that he's sitting in the chair saying, "Good boy." On February 3rd at 2:07, he sent 2 photos showing what appears to be Elijah sitting in a chair and folding his hands like he is praying. She messaged and said, "He looks mad AF." Jesse messaged that Elijah was sad, not mad. He then sent a 10-second video showing Elijah holding his hand up to his ear like he's talking on the phone. Elijah's being prompted by Jesse to say, "Mommy, come get me." On February 3rd at 2:25 p.m., he sent 2 photos showing Elijah looking at the camera with his hands folded like he's praying. Hi, AP. How are you? On February 3rd at 6:12 p.m., she messaged, "Thank you again for doing this." Jesse replied, "No problem. Just keep the loyalty and respect." On February 4th at 1:41 a.m., Jesse sent an image and 5-second video showing Elijah lying face down in a pillow and focusing on his ear. Jesse messaged that he wanted to watch the video to see if he can hear Elijah breathing heavy. Law enforcement further observed messages from February 13th and 14th, which indicated that that Katrina had traveled to Jesse's apartment in Two Rivers. At approximately 9:30 p.m. on February 13th, they were discussing having her come into his apartment for sex. He tells Katrina that she cannot see Elijah when she gets to the apartment and that Elijah can be placed in the bathroom while they're doing it. At approximately 10:12 p.m., Katrina messages Jesse that Elijah can sleep, or that his sister can just sleep in the car. Jesse replies at approximately 11:45 p.m. that Elijah will be put in the living room and that she needs to be quiet walking through. At 12:39 a.m. on February 14th, he asked Katrina to send her location so that he knows when to put him to sleep. I think they were drugging this child. I really do. Because how are you able to just put him to sleep on command? Of course, then again, you're keeping him up for days on end. I guess it would probably be easy to just let him lay down eventually and go to sleep, but I really question if they were drugging him. On February 14th at approximately 2:27 a.m., Katrina's cell phone arrives in Two Rivers. There was Facebook messaging between her and Vang, and at 2:35 a.m., he's she asks, "Is there a way to shut off your headlights completely?" He responds, "No, they cannot shut off completely." She messages, "I can't find her daughter's cell phone, but a cop just passed by, so I want to make sure she's good." She messaged, "Let me find her phone quick because I need to have some type of sound for her." He replied, "Probably think someone is warming up." She responded, "Not worth the risk. I'll leave it off for a bit, then turn it on again." This is in the middle of February. She left her daughter in the cold in the car in the middle of February. She messaged that she found the phone, but it was dead. She messaged she would leave her phone in the car. At approximately 2:40 a.m., she questioned whether to leave her phone on phone call or on sound. He replied phone. She agreed and told Jesse to put yourself on mute right away. She also messaged, "It should stay warm for a bit, right?" And he responded, "Okay, then yeah, it will." Approximately 3:13 a.m., she took the cell phone image of Elijah, which shows him wearing the eye mask, the blindfold, and the apparent bruising. At approximately 4:12 a.m., the image was deleted and her phone leaves Two Rivers at approximately 4:30. On February 14th, according to the National Weather Service records, the low temperature for Two Rivers on February 14th was 27 degrees Fahrenheit and the high temperature was 36 degrees. Uh, his sister had previously been diagnosed as autistic. In review of Messenger messages between Katrina and Vang, officers located a photograph taken on February 15th at approximately 8:24 p.m. That depicted Elijah standing in the corner wearing only a diaper. Elijah's hands appeared to be in the praying position and the diaper looked full. The photo appeared to have been taken in Vang's bedroom. Phone records further indicate that she returned to the city of Manitowoc on February 16th at 11:01 p.m. She called Jesse's phone at about 11:15 p.m. and went into a quick trip store to purchase items, which was confirmed by surveillance. At approximately 11:21 p.m., she texted Vang, "On my way, put him to sleep." He responded, "Okay." Her phone arrives at Vang's apartment around midnight. Approximately 12:30 a.m. on February 17th, both her and Vang's phones moved to the city of Manitowoc. Approximately 12:50 a.m., he went to Saucy's bar in the city of Manitowoc, went inside by himself. This was confirmed by a patron of the bar. Katrina and Vang's phones separate for about an hour. During that time, Katrina traveled to the Quick Trip location at 2103 South 42nd Street in the city of Manitowoc. Officers were able to view surveillance video from the Quick Trip store. In that video, she can be seen sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle. There's no child seen in the vehicle. At approximately 1:45 a.m., she is seen making purchases inside of the Quick Trip store alone. At approximately 1:55 a.m., her phone travels back to his location and they return back to his apartment in Two Rivers. At 5 a.m., she leaves Two Rivers and on February 16th, her daughter was being taken care of by a person in the Wisconsin Dells area. On February 16th, Elijah was in Two Rivers and supposed to be under the care of Vang and Bauer. So they left him home alone, probably sitting in the corner somewhere, probably just saying good boy the entire time. So they have not found anybody who was taking care of him on February 16th and 17th. On February 18th at approximately 4:36 a.m., Jesse messaged Katrina and said, "I told you to trust me. I'm a make sure he hates me and being here." Katrina responded, "Don't want him to hate you, just fear you." Jesse responded, "It's okay. Someone had to be the bad person." Jesse messaged, I know, but either way, he can fear you and respect you." He messaged, "He did fear me, but he didn't respect me. Now I'm making him respect me." On February 19th at 12:21 p.m., he sent a video that was originally created on January 22nd, during which he prompted Elijah to say, "I be a good boy. I promise. I don't want to live with Uncle. No, no more, Uncle. I'll be a good boy, Mom. Sorry." She responded, "He looks traumatized. LMAO." At 12:28 p.m., Jesse messaged that Elijah is in his timeout corner. She replied, "Good. He deserves it." I literally have yet to see anything this child has actually done wrong other than all of this. All of this made up crap that they have in their heads. So, witness interviews. Um, so the three witnesses of Ross Auto, I don't know how many of you guys have seen those pictures, but on February 22nd, witness 3 informed Jesse was present at Ross Auto on Friday, February 16th with Elijah. We have seen that photo of him like all bundled up and stuff. Jesse was having ignition interlock device installed on his Chevy pickup truck. Witness 3 had previously told the detective that Witness 3 found it odd that Jesse repeatedly identified Elijah as his nephew and continuously pushed down the winter cap that was on Elijah's head. The witness said that Elijah had mannerisms that made him believe that he did not want to be there. Witness 3 further stated that Jesse contacted him twice on February 19th by phone, as Jesse was upset about his vehicle having a dead battery. Witness 3 explained that the ignition interlock device pulls constant power off of a car battery. On February 20th at approximately 9:29, DCI Special Agent contacted Witness 2 at her residence. Witness 2 resides in the apartment at 3918 Mishicot Road, and her boyfriend, Witness 1, and Witness 2 advised yesterday that she purchased a 6-pack bottles of Budweiser from the Shell gas station for Jesse. Jesse had asked her to pick him up beer because Elijah was being really naughty. Witness 2 explained that Jesse had told her that Elijah was locked in the bedroom. Witness 2 had seen Jesse lock Elijah in the bedroom in the past, and she stated that Jesse told her that he was really stressing out over Elijah. Witness 2 estimated that Elijah had been coming around the apartment for the past month and a half, and Witness 2 said that Jesse was constantly telling both Witness 1 and her that Elijah was a bad or naughty kid. The FBI, Special Agent Brian Darcy, reports that on February 22nd, he spoke with Witness 1, and Witness 1 did not work on Monday, February 29th. Witness 1 said that he talked to Jesse the day before on February 18th, and that he saw Jesse in the hall doing laundry at the apartment on Mishicot Road. Jesse asked if he could use Witness One's car, and Jesse said that he needed to use the car on Monday, February 19th at 5 p.m. He said he needed to give somebody money. Witness 1 reported that his vehicle, oh, this is the car. Okay, so on February 18th is when he borrows the neighbor's car. So that's why they were saying that the owner of the car was not who they were searching for. But look at this, guys. February 18th, he borrows the car. And on February 18th is also when he sent her the old video. Where'd it go? No, February 19th. Okay, never mind. But did he plan like the day before to use the friend's car? Like, oh, okay. Anyways, sorry. Let me just keep reading. Obviously, I haven't gotten past this part yet. Okay, so on February 19th, witness one gave Jesse his car keys, and witness one called Jesse and then went over to Jesse's and handed him the keys in the hallway. He did not see Elijah at all. Witness one did not see Elijah on Sunday, the 18th, either. Jesse was talking about Elijah. Jesse said that Elijah was bad and he was acting up, and he did not know how to deal with this. Witness one believed that Jesse told him prior to seeing or told him this prior to seeing Jesse on Sunday in the hallway, possibly the same weekend. He did it on the 18th and then asked to borrow the friend's car. That's where I'm at with this now. So, based on Jesse's prior statement that he had been home watching Ready Player One on Netflix the evening of February 19th, law enforcement did review his phone records and Netflix records. According to his phone records, there was no manual operation of his cell phone or outgoing activity on February 19th between 5:59 p.m. and 7:12 p.m. During that time frame, his cell phone was located at his apartment on Mishicot Road. According to Netflix records on his account on February 29th, an Android cell phone was used to stream the movie Ready Player One. The streaming first began at 5:59 p.m. User action was required to initiate the playing of the movie. The movie played for 1 hour and 18 minutes until it was stopped or paused. It was then played again at 7:28. User action was required to play the movie. The movie played for 36 minutes. On February 26th, they received information indicating that Witness One's Nissan Altima was being operated in the city of Two Rivers during the time frame when his Netflix account was playing Ready Player One. Specifically, they received information from the county sheriff's department that Witness One's license plate was seen at approximately 6:46 p.m. on February 19th while monitoring traffic in the city of Two Rivers. Deputy Jurishell was believed to be on Forest Avenue near 24th Street and the northwest of 22nd Street at that time. As a result, the law enforcement conducted video canvassing of Two Rivers surveillance video from St. Vincent de Paul. February 19th, it was obtained and reviewed by DCI SA Luke Hepp and approximately 6:47 p.m. Witness One's Nissan was observed operating on Monroe Street passing the south driveway of St. Vincent de Paul. At approximately 6:47 p.m., the Nissan was observed passing a black marked police SUV which was southbound on Forest Avenue, approaching 22nd Street. The squad continued southbound on Monroe Street and the Nissan continued northwest on Forest Avenue. At approximately 7:05 p.m., another black marked police SUV squad is observed traveling southbound on Forest Avenue and enters the intersection of 22nd Street. Behind the squad is Witness One's Nissan. The squad continued southbound on Monroe, and the Nissan turns eastbound onto 22nd Street and then southbound onto the lot of St. Vincent de Paul. The Nissan then pulls along the west side of the building and stops in the parking lot. At approximately 7:06 p.m., a male, later identified as Jesse Vang, exits the driver's seat. He is observed opening the rear side door and retrieving a dark colored suitcase. He then carries the suitcase and places it on the ground in front of the door on the west side of St. Vincent de Paul. He was wearing an unzipped white hooded jacket over a dark shirt, dark pants, and white sandals over dark socks, and a dark baseball cap. There did not appear to be anyone else inside of the Nissan. At approximately 7:06 p.m., he re-enters the driver's seat of the Nissan and turns northbound on Monroe Street. The Nissan is then observed stopping at the intersection of 22nd Street and continuing northbound on Forest Avenue. On March 5th, they arrived at St. Vincent de Paul, and it would have been closed at the time that he was observed dropping off the suitcase at the West donation door on February 19th. Law enforcement was able to locate a black, medium-sized suitcase that had two distinct zippered storage areas on the front and a rectangular silver Jeep identifying tag on the front near the top of the suitcase. The suitcase was consistent with what was observed on the security video. The suitcase was sent to Wisconsin State Crime Lab for testing. The DNA swabbing of the interior area of the suitcase resulted in a single source male profile. That single source profile was consistent with the profile from Elijah. The probability of random selecting the observed profile from the population and unrelated individuals is not more frequent than 1 in 1 quadrillion. They did a presumptive test for saliva that was performed on the interior of the suitcase, and the result was positive. Previously in the investigation, law enforcement did obtain information leading to the recovery of the black, white, and red checkered blanket belonging to Elijah in the area of Johnston Drive and Goodwin Road in Manitowoc County. On February 25th, a citizen reported that while walking her dogs, she located the blanket on the ground past the ditch off the south side of Goodwin Road between Johnston Drive and North 8th Street, next to a wooden post and a dirt easement. The blanket was subsequently sent to Wisconsin State Crime Laboratory for testing. They performed an examination of the blanket and they determined that it was also Elijah's. Law enforcement continued to conduct video canvassing in the area of Two Rivers for the evening of February 19th. They did obtain additional videos depicting a vehicle consistent with the Nissan operating, all in the time that he was supposedly watching Ready Player One. So I guess that leads to question, did he have his son maybe hitting the play button on the movie that whole time? That would be my guess because the movie restarted. So did he set his autistic kid up with his phone to watch the movie maybe? Very frustrating. So this goes down through the different areas that they have him on camera then all in this vehicle. And it's just basically a lot of places. And it's all while he was supposedly watching the Ready Player One. So discovery of human remains on September 7th. Witness 4 and Witness 5 contacted law enforcement after observing bones while walking in a wooded area near Christie Bob Lane in Manitowoc County. A human cranium was observed and on the surface with several other bones resting nearby. There appeared to be sand or gravel mixture near the area where the remains were found that appeared to be foreign to the existing terrain. Dr. Jordan, an anthropologist, arrived on the scene and identified the skeletal remains as human. They contained tooth pieces and hairs with root material and were tested to prove to be Elijah. So they reported the washing of discolored tooth pieces also to be consistent with Elijah. So, the area of Christie Bob Lane is a gravel road located in the wooded area of Manitowoc County. Um, so he was familiar with that area. It says approximately 1 mile in length, runs to along a quarry and ends in a private residence. Though the investigation and law enforcement confirmed that he was familiar with the area and had been present at the residence on Christie Bob Lane in September of 2023. So the detective then traveled from Vang's apartment to Mishicot Road, where the remains of Elijah were located on Christie Bob Lane, and then south past HD Diesel to Goodwin Road, where the blanket was found, and back north to Highway 310, where he turned east to Two Rivers. He traveled past the St. Vincent de Paul to Vang's apartment on Mishicot Road. The amount of time was 30 minutes and 35 seconds without stopping. The doctor further examined the skeletal remains at oh man, I wonder did he go back and hit the play button again because he knew the movie would be over? So he hurried up and drove back and hit the play button so he could go out and finish what he was doing. Because it played for what, 35 minutes the second time or 36 minutes? When it okay. So they examined the skeletal remains. They did determine that it was a 3 or 4-year-old child, being 2'9" to 3'4", and that it was consistent with Elijah. They noted the degree of decomposition observed on Elijah's skeletal remains, and the corresponding estimated postmortem interval is consistent with his death occurring in the time interval when he was reported missing. They observed his skull had healed fractures on his zygomatic process in right temporal bone. This instance of trauma was associated with a big long Z word that I'm not even going to attempt to say. Oh goodness. That is a big one. So it looks like okay, here, head trauma. I'm like, that all has to mean head trauma, right? So yeah, so it correlated with head trauma occurring during instances such as child abuse. Does it start over after the credits? What? Oh, no, no, they said that the play button would have been activated by someone. It's not something that would have done automatically. It's something that they actually notated. So the doctor further noted that trauma was not present during the radiographic examination of Elijah when he was 6 months of age. To see the level of healing observed, it would have taken at least several weeks. Therefore, she notes that the trauma inflicted must have occurred between the timing of the from 6 months old until several weeks prior to his death. So he had had a significant head injury at some point. I agree, Annie Lou. It's definitely mind boggling that, like, all of this, like, this is insane. So the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin reported that based on the information obtained through law enforcement investigation, that Katrina and Jesse, um, Elijah is diagnostic for physical abuse, psychological and emotional maltreatment, and neglect. Per notes, the history provided by caregivers to law enforcement, the messages to each other is consistent with torture, a type of child maltreatment characterized by physical assault or abuse, psychological maltreatment, and neglect, resulting in prolonged emotional distress, pain, and suffering, bodily injury, disfigurement and dysfunction, and or death. The doctor noted that Elijah's experienced multiple types of maltreatment, including forced position holding, being made to stand without sitting for 1 to 3 hours at a time, with his hand in prayer positions multiple times a day, exposure to cold water showers on at least 2 occasions. That's all they know about because of the videos and things like that, and then sleep deprivation isolation from his mother and sisters and others, and terrorizing, repeated threats of cold water and no longer seeing his mother. The doctor identified that Elijah's presentation was consistent with supervisory neglect and physical neglect, and explains that supervisory neglect includes that young children left without supervision or left in the care of other children who lack the judgment and maturity necessary to safely and appropriately react inside of an emergency. She also reports that changing a diaper once a day would not be considered appropriate care and would cause discomfort, distress, and increased risk of preventable infections. Like, no crap, right? Um, yeah. So she also indicated that Elijah experienced psychological emotional maltreatment and that explained that caregiver behaviors, which are considered to be psychological or emotional maltreatment, included deprivation, ignoring, isolation, spurning, and terrorizing. Deprivation includes preventing a child from meeting basic needs such as sleep. Ignoring is failing to respond to a child's need for stimulation, nurturance, encouragement, and protection. In this case, Elijah was not allowed to play with toys, which a child needs to learn and develop normally, and was repeatedly subjected to an environment where he was maltreated. Elijah is also isolated from having normal social interactions with other children and adults. He was spurned or belittled by repeatedly saying and implying and making him say he was not a good boy. Elijah was also terrorized when threatening with extreme punishments or creating a climate of terror by playing on his fears. The doctor explained that psychological and emotional maltreatment of a child significantly increases the risk of adverse health or mental health and emotional outcomes due to the direct and indirect effects of the treatment and maltreatment of a child's physical, psychological, and cognitive emotional development. The doctor also reviewed the cell phone image taken by Katrina on February 14th, and the doctor notes that the areas of discoloration, particularly those on Elijah's neck and elbow, raised concern for bruising suggestive of fingertip contusions. She had further noted that the large area of discoloration under his elbow appeared to have had a linear pattern, which would not be typical or expected with an accidental fall. She also discussed the healed fracture from the right zygomatic process that the doctor observed during the examination of his skull. They indicated that the facial bone fractures are typically caused by blunt force trauma or crush, which would be expected to be extremely painful. On October 16th, the medical examiner filed a report regarding Elijah. In this report, it indicated that his cause of death was homicide by unspecified means. They further noted that his skeleton was performed, or that, that he had identified a healed fracture of his cheekbone, which was estimated to be at least a few weeks old. The healed fracture was associated with adjacent structure line di- diastasis. Um, so it means that it separated and previously fused suture lines and indicates trauma. The doctor explained that the fractures of this type are consistent with physical abuse. And it should be noted that the bones of children are more elastic than adult bones and will bend much more than they break, as they require more relative force to fracture. So then it goes down through, the repeater where it says all the different people who are involved. This is just the tip of everything, you guys. All of those text messages, all of that stuff, we know from previous cases that we have followed that they put the bare minimum into these documents to release, enough to make the public frustrated and upset, and to get the indictment and to make sure that they get a decent amount of bail and things like that set. But also, they leave out a ton of things. I am not going to be prepared for this trial whenever it comes. I really think that we are going to see some very, very dark things during this trial. if they video it. It reminds you of the Shonda Vander Ark case. Yeah, both from Wisconsin. So, I don't know. This entire report, everything that I read, this child went through day after day after day for weeks, over and over again, and they just laughed about it. His mom just sat there and laughed about it. And I can't help but sit there and think to myself, I don't know, I hope that they can suffer the same type of fate, and someday they probably will. What goes around comes around, you know? But I'm not going to stay on here too much longer, you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and close it down. I want to send you guys all over to Lokamai. She is discussing a ton of updates for Friday night. She typically starts at 10. I do apologize for overstepping her. I really didn't think that it was going to take me this long, but this court document, like there's just so much here. There's just so much here. I appreciate every single one of you guys that came and heard about this story and really just took the time to sit and listen to what this baby went through. I guess just pray for justice at this point and closure for his extended family, that they can have some type of peace, knowing that the people who did this to him are going to pay. They will see justice on this earth, and then I have faith that they will see justice beyond this earth as well. So, come on over to Lokamai. I'm gonna hop over there and let me see if I can just auto move you guys. That would be pretty cool. Let me see if I can update it, if it's too late or not. And then it would just scoot you over. I can't remember which tab that's under. Scooching you over. Under this one. Redirect. Here we go. Ta-da. Save. All right. We should be redirected now. So we will hop over there.